So I got an interesting question today from a young client of mine who is 18 and is sort of coming to terms with this big awakening of spirituality. And one thing the program does, a lot of people are sort of searching for health, but they don't realize, stumbling across the program, really what they've come across is this really deep path of spiritual development, which obviously people are not expecting. And it's a shock. It's a shock to the system. It's an ego breakdown. It's confusing. It's overwhelming. So I just thought I'd discuss that a little bit because it was definitely something that I encountered when I was younger. I started the program when I was 21. This guy's 18, so 3 years younger than me. So I'll just talk about my experience, and then maybe that can help other people's experience. So basically, usually when people begin this program, especially when they start getting interested in the more spiritual stuff, is usually they're already somewhat open to other things. It might be, they think outside the box. They might have watched sort of videos about DMT or Terence McKenna, or psychedelics and ceremonies. They might be interested in things like ancient aliens on TV. Probably interested in conspiracy theories. And generally what I find is that these individuals, they're already open. They already realize there's something different. They're already open to the idea that the world isn't quite what it seems. So in many respects, although this can be overwhelming and confusing and a big jump forwards, at the same time it can be quite liberating, because a lot of these people are generally deep down searching for something that's going to fulfill that inner fragility, that inner confusion. What the hell is life all about? What am I doing? These people generally have struggled in work, or they've struggled in other areas of their life. And coming into contact with something like this is a little bit like finding a big jigsaw piece puzzle that they've been looking for a long time. So my advice is just to keep doing the program. If you're with a practitioner and they've got some sort of like client chat group, that really helps because you can get to know the people on the program. Keep watching our videos. Keep watching Dr. Wilson's websites. As a practitioner, I do ongoing counselling with my clients if they want it. So it can be about anything. So this client of mine, he's going to book in for a session and we can talk about things. Because usually it's quite specific. Everyone's got their own specific past, their own specific traumas, their own specific ideas about life. So having them conversations can really help. But realize that the world, the universe is spiritual. Things like listening to life after death experiences really helps me. There's a cool YouTube channel called NDE accounts, near death experience accounts. And you listen to them, it just makes you realize that the world is spiritual, the world is energy, the world is love, and sometimes it feels like walking through a house with the lights off. You're kind of just feeling through it, but try not to worry too much. Be calm and take things one step at a time. That would be my advice. And try and get to know the people who are into spirituality, who are on the program, and take things step by step. Alright, hope that helps a little bit. I know it's a big subject, that it can be quite confusing for a lot of people, but try just to take try to take things one step at a time, and try and get good sources of information. That's another important thing, is that the truth is hard to come by these days. Real truth. There's a lot of charlatans out there that will feed you duff information that will end up taking you down bad paths, whether it be a fruitarian cult, whether it be some weird religious cult, You know, whether it will be some sort of healing modality that ends up making you worse. And sometimes it's hard to distinguish who's truth, who's not truth. Some people are better at it than others naturally. But sometimes people have got to go through experiences in order to learn what's not the truth. And hopefully, if you're watching our videos, reading Dr. Wilson's articles, generally what happens is that you know, a seed gets dropped, something that I say or Luke says or Dr. Wilson says, or a seed gets dropped in the chat group, and it might not fully resonate initially, but something will happen in your life where you'll experience something, and that seed will fire up and you think, I've heard about that, I've learnt that, someone told me about that, and that brings you back to the truth. And the more that happens, the more you realise that the nutritional balancing program is truth. Although it's confusing and complicated sometimes, it is truth, and it will keep you on that guided path. And the more you do the program, the more you'll experience more spiritual things, whether it be feeling energy centers or chakras and all that sort of stuff. So probably an interesting video to watch of mine is called the esoteric abilities that I have gained whilst on the program. If you could check that out, that'd be good. But apart from that, speak to your practitioner, go out, find new friends, find new people, praying. You know, if you want to go to church, go to church. That kind of helps you somewhat. But yeah, take one step at a time. Realise that you're on the right path. You're on the path of truth, and get to know people. All right. Hope that helps. Catch you soon.